We're back. So this is a bit of a follow-up to career planning, because as we're heading into the next phase, we want to be looking ahead. Alex has done a number of strategy sessions since the career planning webinar, and we have a few things that we want to address head on based on the conversations, and we also want to move the ball forward. So yeah, what are some of the bigger currents that you're seeing in your conversations?
Well, the biggest two things are not enough money. I'm not making enough money. And it either comes down to I'm working too much and I'm not making enough money, or I don't even know where to start trying to make money. And it all comes down to they just don't know sometimes what they don't even know. And it comes down to lack of planning, and they're working too much in their business and not working on their businesses. They're being in reactive mode. Things are coming up and they're just reacting rather than planning. And it's all about the planning. And so many of the people that I talk to, there's so much wisdom in the people that I talk to. Mm-hmm. They have so much modality training, so much wisdom, so much knowledge, but they don't have the business training. They don't have the business model. And that's what they're looking for, is they're looking for help in planning their business, but some of them just don't even know where to start.
Yeah, and it's, there's so much great abundance mindset. This is something I was talking about today with the yoga health coaches, is how, and in the Living Ayurveda course, it came up in a few conversations, but how we can be really well developed in our intuitive body and our bliss body and then our pranic body, right? Those three koshas, those three sheaths of the self. If we've done a lot of energy work and breath work on ourselves, those parts are very developed. And are they developed as much in relationship with the manomaya kosha, with the more mental, rational, logical body, the more left brain side of like, okay, I want to double my income next year. Well, how am I going to break that down into actionable steps to make that happen? What do I need to learn that I don't know? And I find there's not nearly enough people asking that question of what do I need to learn now that I don't know? Because otherwise I would have already done that. Right?
Yeah.
And what do I need to do differently? So that catching up of this more cognitive side, of this more left brain side of like, what do I need to learn? Who do I need to learn this from? And where's the supportive environment that can actually like hold my, pranic maya kosha evolution while I fill in some of these gaps in terms of, in a yoga health coaching conversation today, it came up in relationship to Facebook marketing. And it's like, well, what are you trying to do with Facebook? And she didn't know. She's like, I think I'm trying to get people from Facebook to my website. I'm like, well, is your website optimized to do what you want with the person that then lands there? And she hadn't thought through all these steps to optimizing what happens when someone ends up on our website from Facebook. And this is part of that like lack. I find this real lack of marketing strategy and just the overall picture of the business model of knowing like how many people do you really need to work with a year to hit your income targets, and are you reverse engineering that to make that happen? Now that, if you're trying to double your income or you're trying to work half as many hours this next year, like these are the big questions that you need, exactly what you're saying. You need a solid strategy to be able to do that.
Yeah, and so many of the people I talk to have part of it. They've got little bits and pieces here and there. They've got a bunch of Facebook fans, or they have a big email list, or they have a goal that I want to work less and I want to make more, but they don't have the connections. They don't have how the Facebook page and the fans and the marketing scheme and the goals and how they all work together. They've got, a lot of people have a big goal, but they don't have it broken down into the little weekly, monthly, quarterly goals that are going to get them there.
Right.
And that, having a goal that's just so far away it's almost like a pipe dream. It's if you have a goal that, in a year I'm going to do this, but you don't have any of those little actionable goals in between, it's just hard to get there. And that's where people get stuck in that planning, because they get so wrapped up in their everyday work, in their teaching their classes and seeing their clients and trying to put out a Facebook post or a blog post whenever they can, that they don't have the plan and they don't have the mapped out how they're going to get there. Right.
And how it all needs to fit together so that the end goals are achieved, whether that's income or impact or, lifestyle design or whatever are your career goals right now. Okay. Yeah. So I'm curious too. So as people are doing these calls with you, by you asking this question, just describe the experience that they're having in terms of actually talking this through with someone and starting to realize some of those maybe missing chunks of thinking.
Yeah, it's great to see or to hear some people having like a real light bulb moment sometimes. And it seems so obvious once they realize it. But before they realize it, it's not even in the picture. Like so many people, I always ask them, and as I said, tons of training, tons of knowledge, tons of things that they know. And then I'll say to them, okay, and how much training have you done? How much business training have you done? And then there's a pause and they're like, none. And then and then I bring them into, don't you think if you want to be successful in business that you should put in as much training and as much planning and as much thought into your business as you're putting into your wisdom and your modality? And they're like, oh yeah, I probably shouldn't I? And it's something that, so many people just, it's not in their wheelhouse until it's brought to their attention.
Yeah. This is so true. It just brings to mind someone in one of my groups yesterday who she came in through living Ayurveda, and then she wanted to step up in her career, and so she went into yoga health coaching, and she said yesterday on the call, she's like, I just did my numbers and I've more than doubled my income in the last year. And for us to just like pause together and realize what she was doing differently so that she got really clear on exactly how that happened so that there's no mystery behind it. So if she wants to recreate that and double her income again, she knows exactly what steps to take to do it. And or if she's just happy there and she wants to make sure she has another great year next year, that's right at that new level. And she's, when you have a big expansion like that, like your energy body is trying to like, was that luck? Was that a fluke? And she's like, her whole MO is like, it was a fluke, but then like, no, you did certain things step by step. You followed this model, blah, blah, blah. And you can see her just like relax. Like, if I want to do this again, all I have to do is repeat what I just did. And I can probably do it a lot better. And I can probably do it in a way that's more streamlined for growth. But my point being this, that as we start to fill in some of these big gaps, whole new worlds become possible for us. And often we have no idea. I remember when she had a strategy session with me 15 months ago, she had no idea what was possible. And so I think a lot of, this idea of understanding what's possible and then some of these bigger chunks that might be getting in our way and making the possible totally impossible. Mm-hmm. Right? It's like a beginner comes to yoga and they're like, I want to do a back bend. And it's like, okay, first, like, let's just touch the sky and touch the earth. Like, let's start with some of these big missing blocks of hamstring flexibility and, openness in the shoulders and, like these things that need to happen before the massive expansion can take place. And just having a conversation with someone. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's, go ahead.
No, you go.
That's why these strategy sessions are so great. And I just want to encourage anyone who is even thinking about signing up for a strategy session, do it. I've had some people say, oh, I'm not sure. I don't do it. Sign up for it. Yeah. Chat with me, talk to me. And, maybe you'll have a light bulb moment. Or if it's not even a light bulb moment, you'll at least get clarity on some other things that you just didn't. So many people don't know. I know I say this all the time, but so many people just don't know what they don't know.
They don't know. I know.
And
none of us know what we don't know. It's like today we had you and I were working on, some planning stuff, and I'm like, we need to bring in an expert because you and I can't solve this problem. Like, we don't know enough.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. But until you're used to doing that, right? Yeah.
Yeah. And so, if you schedule with me, I am used to getting this and talking to people about it and getting it out of them and having them figure out what they don't know and what they want to know and where they want to go. And I've been doing it for a while now, and I've been doing it with a lot of people. And it's just great to see where these strategy sessions, they're helpful no matter what you decide to do with your life and your career and your goals. It's super, super helpful. And
okay. So how do they do that? Where do they go?
Lot.
What's the domain?
It's yogahealer.com/strategy.
Okay,
And then you
yogahealer.com
can
forward
sign
slash
up.
strategy. Great.
Yep, and you can apply for a strategy session, and then you'll be taken to my calendar, and you can schedule with me, and we'll talk for 30 minutes, and you'll just get clear on what you want to do and where you want to go. And I'll ask you some questions, and you can ask me questions, and it's super helpful.
Yeah, it's an awesome opportunity. So yeah, again, when you fill out that application, take time. Like the more you put into it, the more you're going to get out of it. So be very clear with your intention with that. Okay, yogahealer.com/strategy. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.